Hello, you're watching and listening to the episode of Leaders and Engineers. Today we're broadcasting from Amsterdam, Netherlands, and we're sitting right next to the Van Gogh Museum. Today our guest is an expert in software engineering, data engineering, big data, and AI. He is a graduate with degree in computer software engineering with more than 20 years of experience in software engineering, data engineering, and AI. He worked in such companies as the NewMotion, which is the largest network of charging stations for electric vehicles in Europe, and eBay, one of the biggest in the world marketplaces. He is a frequent participant of various marathons for already 2 years. His personal record is 2 hours and 8 minutes. He lives in Amsterdam and works as a senior software engineer in Nike. Please meet Valeriy Svechikhin.
Thank you very much. Thank you for invitation. So very
Glad to see you here. Today we are recording without the special mic. We had this a bit of last moment technical issue, but hopefully the sound will be good and you will enjoy it. All right, Valera, today you had a marathon as well, right?
no. Today was a very short 5K race.
Okay. For the many participants there,
It's local. It's Hasper plus 5K run. It's I don't know how many participants. I had a funny number 666. So I assume about 1,000.
wow, that's quite a lot.
It's big city, Amsterdam.
So there was 1,000 participants, and what's your result?
Unfortunately, I didn't take gold. I take first place.
Out of 1,000.
Out of about I don't know how many people. So it was nice race. So I'll learn on my mistakes and probably I'll go for gold next time.
I see. Well, this is actually a great result if we compare with how many participants were there.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more also about the sports and what you do. By the way, when did you start? Was it inspired with Nike, or was it some other inspiration? How did you decide to start running?
Actually, it was vice versa. I switched to Nike because I started running, and when they called me, I was like, usually I was really happy in eBay, but usually I don't take some new proposals because if I like the people there. But Nike like resonate with my soul, and I switch there. And how I start running? It's like running. It's because of my friend who is my colleague in eBay, and this is regular running. But before, I did small kind of runs, maybe once a month. But regular running, I start with him because it was end of COVID. We were in office again, and he decided. He said, "Would you like to join?" I decided to go for a run, and I said, "Yes, why not?" And started to run.
I see. All right. So, in this interview, we're trying something different. We do a mock-up of the job interview. So it's like you're applying for imaginary company for the leadership position in the engineering, in the science R&D department. And basically, in this case, I will be asking you questions typical for the leadership positions in these companies. But then I will say our job interview is over, and I'll ask your feedback. What was the impression? How you felt? And then so on. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And awesome. So, hello, Valera. Thank you for applying for a leadership position in our engineering company. Our company is innovative. We are developing what we call jogging bodybot. Jogging bodybot is AI-powered, environmentally conscious robotic companion designed for those who are running. and who want to save the planet while they stay fit. So basically, a robot whom we call Jogbot not only runs alongside with you, but also collects litter, plants seeds, and dispenses eco-friendly motivational quotes.
Very nice idea.
You will see this on your screens. I will show to Valera how it looks like. So here's man is running, and here's personal companion bot running, planting seeds, and collecting litter. And my yeah, by the way, this one was generated with Dalin.
Yeah, I see.
Yes. Well, my first question would be, why have you decided to apply for this position?
The idea resonates. So I really like. I like running. I like helping environment, and overall, the I think we need to go for better and more sustainable world. So
But would you be happy having such companion when you're running, or also maybe taking the marathon?
yeah, not even only companion. So, for example, in the Netherlands, there are initiatives when you run and collect litter, and there is a very funny Dutch guy who proposed that always always kind of supporting that. And you can see him on many local events. He usually wears the costume made from disposal, like Coca-Cola cans and all this. And it's, uh, it's a very good idea to collect litter. And of course, but also nice. Yeah. But I would say this robot is quite hard to implement on engineering point of view.
But if we take the current level of development, like, and think in terms of next 5 years, how would you estimate how likely we will reach that level of readiness when we can have this kind of humanoid robots uh, with a sufficient intelligence to be as companions for us?
I don't think it will be very. So there is a question not only about the technology, but also how wide it spreads. Because on current level, we could have it. For example, based on Boston Dynamics, based on the robots from Tesla, for example. They can walk, they can go over obstacles, they can collect things, they can recognize. We have all things in place, but the cost of this robot would be roughly between, I think, $20,000 and 100,000. It depends on many factors. And of course, this is more expensive than almost everything. So it won't be widely available. We would have only very small focus group of people and in meaning of survival with business to be um, to, to, to to have normal revenue, we need quite a lot of customers.
Yeah, definitely. The business side, it's great that you're thinking also about the business side. But as engineer, when you're designing some products, how much you think the engineers actually should think about the business side when they are looking for the technical solutions?
I think it's always good to also pay attention on business side because that's part of your motivation. If, for example, you do not believe in the product from also business point of view, maybe you should not be there. So it's my opinion, and you need to have kind of more broad, just but not just engineering view of the program. Uh, but technically, this problem we described is possible to solve now. Of course, first versions of a robot maybe could have some drawbacks, but in general, uh, it's possible even on current level of. But while so, but it will be maybe in 10 years something like when it's getting cheaper and cheaper.
I see. Well, there are different discussions about this. Let's say in the latest interview, the head of NVIDIA, he said like 5 years we should see emergence of this robots with like 10, 11 degrees of freedom at least. Um, and he was connecting this in relation to the development from the NVIDIA those chips. Um, but yeah, who knows how fast it might go. Um, Now coming back to your background, to your experience, you've been 20 years, more than 20 years doing software engineering and things related to the computer domain, also the data engineering, working with AI. How did you start your journey? How did you decide that you will start working in this area, in this field?
Because of my mom, it was 90s, middle of 90s, and my mom, she's teacher, and um, she said so we have like in their s- the it's like not school but it's faculty education, and she had natural house which she designed. I don't know how it's in like the place where children go to study nature to yeah, why interested. So there were computer classes and FeedNet, and yeah, so I really like that. And then uh, we we were not very rich, and I found a different. I was from small town. I found different people who sell very cheap, like 1-2 euros components, very old, and I built my first computer from different components. I was with a processor uh, 386 SX, 33 megahertz. Very nice, and I really enjoyed that.
So, if I understood correctly, you actually started in different direction, and then in the kind of came as a situation that you started more looking into this the computer engineering field assistance.
Yeah, it started from these computer classes, and then my own built computer, and then with small kind of there was also book of Figurnov, the IBM PC, and small pieces of code you can implement. Then it was a book of Nicholas Wirth, algorithm plus data structures equals programs. So I really appreciate work of Nicholas Wirth on Pascal language, and I think he's author, if I'm not mistaken, 7 languages. And then later in my career, I switched to Scala, which language author of this language is student of Nicholas Wirth, and all these guys from School of Lausanne. And I've been in this school, and that's a huge kind of inspiration. But I was in that school much later.
How did you pick Scala? Why Scala?
Um, I didn't pick Scala in the beginning. So it was 2012. A friend of mine with whom we worked together, he told me, "Oh, by the way, do you know?" So I was working with Java at that moment. By the way, you know, a lot of Java people like Scala. I was. what is Scala? Okay, I went to Wikipedia, and actually, we didn't apply my work, so I studied by myself because I was curious about the language, and I was really happy because it's not because I was like related. Martin Adersky, the author of Scala, to Nicholas Weir, but because the language was so powerful, so supporting uh, functional and object-oriented with very nice pattern matching with many features which at that time were not present in many languages, and it had feel like Haskell a bit uh, like good Java, not boilerplate Java.
But how do you see trend with this language? Is it well supported? Is it going to stay relevant for years ahead?
Uh, so every technology is has hype and has steady curve. So the hype of Scala probably was about actually the time I came to Scala of 2012, 13, 14. So now Scala is not kind of huge language. I think it's never been to maybe top 20 languages, but because it's not because the languages has some, I don't know, bad features or something, but because it's also about how lucky you are with language. So if you can advertise, for example, at the time when Java came, it was a really good moment. So when Scala came, uh, it's- everyone already, it was settled environment, so not much place for new language, but in the same time Scala developed very robust community and is very successful in many areas. And personally, I love Scala.
I see. I also saw from your background that you worked a lot with AI, and I think not just AI in the sense that using some maybe third-party tools, but more from the mesh level. And 2017, 8 scientists from Google, they published the landmark research.
Attention, all units.
Yeah,
Okay, I know.
attention is all you need. Really cool name, but also very informative because it's describing. It was describing a new deep learning architecture, which proved to be more powerful than what was there before, and it was based on this attention mechanisms introduced in 2014 by Vardanau and the team and his team. And I know you worked for many years on something similar. How did you feel when you saw this research paper from Google?
Um, so I also work in natural language processing, but I didn't look in deep learning. So I didn't believe that it would solve the problem. Actually, I proved to be wrong. I have to admit that. Uh, I'm more was about system based on graphs. So on huge graph which built by system, not like knowledge graph. Please don't confuse that with it. And of course, when I saw the paper and I also checked the results at that time. There was Bird from Google, and results they they were kind of promising, but uh, not too good to pursue. So and I was continuing actually, but when with OpenAI kind of took over the work of Google and really made really nice models starting from GPT. I remember that moment, and I thought, yeah, it seems to be that technology is quite good. It's natural language processing, but I would say it's not. So I I'm not like on a hype about LLMs because LLMs have a lot of drawbacks. For example, uh, LLM when there is not enough information or if the input is ambiguous or in many other cases uh, it's a very huge multi-parameter model. It cannot by nature give you I don't know. So the model would always tell you something. Later they call hallucinations. And this is one of the biggest concerns. Another my concern about LLMs, it's quite computational dense, so intensive. Yeah, you need first to train model, you need a lot. So I think for Llama 3, might have spent, if I could be mistaken, but they spent two two and a half thousand years of on like usual GPU time. Of course, they maybe train it for a few months on 25,000 GPUs, but to update model, you need a lot of resources. And also, I don't feel it's like how we learn, because we learn every day. For example, being spacious office of your company, very nice office. And when I came here, I studied many things, and I learned it immediately today, not like model does. Of course, we always can provide more and more history and prompt, but there is also limitations. For example, for current models, even for uh, for 100 billion model, I already cannot pronounce these huge numbers. So this is uh, also kind of not limited because I think they have 25,000 tokens now or something like that. But it's not entire history. And I, I've been listening. By the way, can I recommend the podcast on podcast?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm a huge fan of Lex Friedman podcast,
Yeah, I know.
and he had Sam Altman on last episode, and not the last, but last time because he had him few times. So last time when he was talking about future, I was a bit not disappointed, but I felt like here talking about huge investments like hundreds billions of dollars and huge infrastructure. I don't think it's right way to go if we need so much power uh, to support intelligence. And our brain, by the way, takes 25 watts average. So uh,
I remember this was something like 7 trillion that he asked of investment. In
but it's warned me a lot because it should not be so rich. And on TNV in Amsterdam, there was guy, if not mistaken, from Samsung, and they have a Samsung AI, and they
CNW,
yeah
the next web.
the next web yeah, and he told, so we need 10% increasing of power, if I'm understood South Korea, electric power of development in South Korea to support new data centers. And they were thinking about nuclear power. I was looking, and this is all because of I mean the model, is it really so good? But I don't want to say transformers are bad. Transformers are very good for, but it's not only transformers. We need some, probably we need to revisit architecture.
All right. So if I summarize, if I understand you correctly, that thinking just one way about, I mean, it's probably related to what we have in cloud engineering. You can do this horizontal scaling and the vertical scaling. So thinking about just increasing the number of hardware is not the only way. You should also think about how to use less hardware and achieve the same results.
Yeah, they also think about that. So how OpenAI solve that? I don't know details, but they for training they clean the data a lot, and they achieved like very high level of cleaning data, and they use previous models to clean data for next models. For example, I've read they use GPT-3 to clean data for GPT-4. So there is progress, but the architecture, as far as now, because OpenAI, we can call it closed AI because they don't tell much about the how it works. But probably the architecture is the same. Why I draw this conclusion? Because if we look on Llama 3, for example, 70B, it has similar performance. And for this model, we know how it's built. We know we can download the model, and we can kind of derive how it's built on in OpenAI.
About open AI, as I said, close AI. I wanted to ask this question. What's your opinion or impression on the dispute between Elon Musk, OpenAI, and now lately Ilya Sutskever, who created his own what's called super intelligence, or yeah, I don't remember exactly, but he created his own company focusing on AI. So what do you think about their dispute on the transparency and impact of this artificial general intelligence?
Um, there are so many news. Maybe I missed some news. I knew that Ilya left OpenAI, and if I'm not mistaken, he was concerned about not controlled future of AI. Uh, so I don't think this is huge concern, because I'm more would concern that the implementation it's not good, and we won't get much from this AI. But uh, about Elon Musk, you mean he concerned about Apple introducing AI in?
Well, Elon Musk does a lot of things. It's hard to follow him, but it was quite for a long time that he had this dispute. He opened this court case against OpenAI, and which he closed recently. Exactly that OpenAI is not being OpenAI.
Yeah, that's I think it's fair, because at some point they kind of committed to be open, and even committed so much they put it in their name. And in the beginning, I remember they published models GPT-2, but since GPT-3, they stopped doing that. And yeah, I understand all points that huge competition now. People got the how useful it would be, um, and they have points. I rather would say it's better to be open, because my concern not that they close mod. My concern that could be in hands of one person, because they have arguably the best model on the market. And I also know that they removed about non-harm uh, thing from their agreement, and also they work with some military now. And I mean, in that case, closed AI may be uh, not good. Not because of but because they close it and expose to only one kind. Uh, let's say they have very powerful feature, and they're exposed to only the military.
I see. Actually, this is how I understood when Elon Musk recently in Paris, in that Pivatech, he said uh, that my biggest hope in the world was Mars, and my biggest fear in the world is AI.
I also feel a bit and Elon Musk he started OpenAI in a sense, and then somehow he decided it's not good enough at that point. And indeed, at that point, they were not good enough. And then he left. Then they switched to Google research they use, and they really made it very good. And now Elon a bit like a child. Oh my gosh, they play with that toy, and I cannot.
I brush that. What do you mean switch to Google search whom?
Open AI, they had a bit different direction with Elon Musk. I don't know, is it coincidence or not? At some point, he left, and I'm not totally sure about time scale. But then OpenAI, they started working more with kind of a transformers approach, and they did a lot. They the idea of BERT of Google, they implemented it much better than Google, and now we have the best model. And I think at that point, Elon Musk, he saw he missed opportunity. He left the company which now has a golden X, and then maybe he is a bit disappointed.
I see. Well, in coming back to our company, which is making this companion bot running with you, given your impressive marathon records and your experience with running, how would you train Jogbot to keep up with you without needing to recharge or break every few kilometers?
To keep up with this person, I think it's quite simple, because even now on current state of technology, if you look at, again, to Boston Dynamics, they achieve that. Then the autonomy problem, not to recharge, um, this is hard to solve, to be honest. If we have a simple solution, we would have electric cars with highly dense fuel, not lithium, but something different, which can be recharged very fast after maybe 2,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers. But for now, we don't have this solution. So there are a lot of research about using different chemical. And by the way, this if someone wants to go in very fruitful, nice area of research, and probably the batteries is one of them, because is promising, and solving that problem would solve a lot of problems of a lot of devices. So it's really convertible to money. So, but for now, we need to recharge and work on batteries. But autonomy of that kind of bot, probably we would have for 3 hours, something like so. Depends on specification, size of the battery, and technology which you use, and how all the surf motors, how power how much, yeah, consume.
I would like to give you a scenario related to this product and this company. Scenario which is describes certain leadership problem, and then I will ask you how would you solve it. So imagine you are in the position of the as a CTO, Chief Technological Officer, and you are leading the development of this bot. And recently, the team has encountered a significant problem. The bot's litter picking and seed planting mechanism malfunctioning frequently. They're not working quite often, causing delays in production and frustration among the team. Additionally, there has been rise in the customer complaints about these features not working properly. So, as a CTO, how would you prioritize and address the technical malfunctions, these problems of this jogbot?
Yeah, every problem you need to divide on small pieces. So first, you need to understand the causes of these problems. So there could be causes in productions or in implementation, design causes, and after that, you need to address every of them and also verify, of course, with small group users and yeah and iteration by iteration to fix that problem. uh yeah that's how you address usually such kind of problems.
But let's say there are business needs, but there is high competition, tough competition. You don't have so much time for all this testing. How will you address? How would you basically meet those both goals that there are not many complaints or it's functioning robustly, but at the same time you are doing it fast?
um uh, it really depends on a type of issues. So if the issue uh, is not about safe, if that issue relate um, to any harm to any person or whatever, so then probably you can deploy anti-terrorist a bit faster. There is also, if there is really pressure and we need to deploy it faster, you can make sure about hardware and incrementally update the software. It's quite often when people, for example, Apple does that. Sometimes they put some hardware which is not activated yet, but then this soft maybe in few months, sometimes even in 1 year, they activate it. So if you, but personally, in ideal world, it's better to address before putting it, because customer trust is also thing which recently there was a rabbit device, AI device, orange, very bright device. I really like the device idea, but the fact that they just deployed only hardware and then almost every function which you want to use, it says coming soon. That's It's another extreme when people took that approach and said, okay, we have hardware and we would fix software in nearest future. But yeah, that's that's also very frustrating. So it should balance.
But probably this kind of approach fits to uh, people who like to try new things and they accept that some things might not work, but they just like to play with new technologies. What do you think?
Yeah, in that case, you also need to make it clear for customers that we are working on many features and these features coming soon. And I would say some features, some quite big portion of features still should be present. Otherwise, even people who really like to try new things, they would be disappointed as well.
I see. Now I would like to ask about you also related to your experience when it comes to electric vehicles. And now we know that in European Union there is a strong push that by 2030 all the new cars sold should be electric vehicles. How do you estimate? What are your general impressions on this topic, and how do you estimate if it's the right direction or there should be something changed?
I think in general it's right direction. I think timeline would be delayed. I think it will be delayed because the same thing when I came to Amsterdam. Uh, so 7 years ago, they saying 2024 exactly this year we would have some huge percentage. I don't remember, and all taxis and public transport electrical. Um, they're not bad. They're one of leading country with electric vehicles, but they are not there yet. And I don't think by 2030 even Netherlands and or Scandinavian countries, because working in NewMotion, I know percentage where it's used. So Scandinavian country the most use electric vehicles. It seems not obvious because it's called climate and you need to recharge more often. But if you look to prices, energy prices in Norway, where they develop a lot of cheap energy from hydro sources, so it makes clear that why they use electric vehicles. So I think it's good intention, but it would be delayed, and problem also needs to be solved different ways. So I, we all together we can solve it using more uh, like bikes, walking. Not because when I go and when I cycle, I see people mostly driving car alone. It's not very often two people in the car, and majority of the car they meant for five people, 4 5 people, and it's like waste. Only 1.5 ton car, 2 ton car carry 80 60 kilos of weight. It's not, but when you take bike weight 15 kilos and it carry 60 80 kilos, that's much. And also what I would say about green energy. I went to NewMotion because I was in dream of green energy, and that's good. But also I learned how it's produced. For example, in France, at that moment we deployed charge network there. It was 85% of nuclear energy. This is considered more or less clean energy. But in other countries, is almost all energy from fossil fuel. Especially, it's dangerous when it's from coal. Coal causes 22,000 deaths of lung cancer in Europe. I don't remember timeline, but I could be mistaken. It's either year or uh, it could be. You can Google that thing. So this is, and it's also less efficient at that point because you convert energy twice from fossil to electric energy, then you charge car, and you convert it to movement. So and every conversion has significant losses. So and also I would say lithium is not the cleanest. It's clean for European people, but when people who produce that lithium and in these countries, it's not very clean. It requires a lot of chemical and also water. So and for this, from this point of view, we also need to change our society to use more um, muscle power. It's also good for health.
So I assume here in Amsterdam, as well as with many other people who are living here, you are using bicycle.
Yeah, when I came here, I had such a rule for all time. I will use only bicycle, uh, even if the distance, for example, 30 kilometers, if I need to cross whole city or to go to next city. But if distance longer, then I would take train. Well, I don't drive. I don't think is good for environment in general, even electric cars. So public transport is better for environment because it carries more people. So yeah, and I had few exceptions in my life when I got that through, but for last 7 years I mostly use. And also I work in Hilversum, Nike. Their office is in Hilversum. And it's 80 kilometers there and back. And sometimes I quite struggle to cycle there. Sometimes it's very bad weather. But I think this is also about leadership companies. This podcast about leadership. And I think this is very crucial for leaders. If you don't want to cycle, there is bad weather. You know you would be wet for 1.5 hours. But and then you give up. Then uh, when the same happens in business, when you have startup and uh, there is not always clean clear sky, and then sometimes it's failures most of the time, and you need to really be consistent, and you have to have stamina to uh, and all this comes also from sport. You say, okay, I'm going to be miserable 1.5 hours, strong wind, rain, and the water pouring from my shoes. It's okay. I'll come to home or to the work, take shower, get like, and I'm fine.
Well, I can concur with that. Doing the startup, definitely there are lots of challenges, and I think it's told by many people like Sam Altman and Elon Musk, and you can see from their histories how they went through various challenges, but they didn't give up. So this perseverance that you keep going no matter what. But of course also adaptability. At certain point you cannot like push your line.
You need to do it wise. If you're not able to do that, you should not do that. Only if you sure you're able to do that. Uh, Only one thing. Sometimes we underestimate our abilities, and we think we. It's very often happened to me in marathons when I kind of last kilometers, and I said, no, there's no way I can push it. I'm dying. But then after marathon, I analyzed my heart rate, and I see it was still didn't reach the level when it's really dangerous. So or I would stop immediately. So I could push much harder, but our brain uh, uh, kind of fakes us. It says mm, you cannot. It developed uh, by nature to save to preserve energy because we didn't have so much food in the past, and yeah, we need to save energy.
All right. And let's say you're leading the team, and your manager, your leadership told you that from now on, your team who were working mostly remotely have to come and work from office. So this is making this change, taking people from the comfort zone. How would you approach this?
Um, uh, I strongly believe in gamification. So there different situation. If people want to go from office, from home to office, that's not problem. If they don't want go, you need to attract them. So it's not like, uh, guys, I will punish you if you don't go to the office. No, instead you need to find something which attracts every person. Some people, for example, at Nike, they attract many people by open gyms, by mm, which is only on site in campus. And if you want to take this class, you need to be in campus, and it means if you came to class, of course, you would stay for whole day. And every person has something which you can attract. Sometimes not only one thing, but many things. So you also can have some gamification, some scores. For example, like achievements, like in game. If you in office, you have this achievement. It could be it could be it's not probably it's even bad to have it like money, but it's something else, but something maybe nice. You also can attract some people by providing some, I don't know, in eBay they after pandemic they provide free massage for people. But also the way to attract people. So when you uh, uh, yeah, you don't have to push by force, by more like to do something else.
I see. Well, I really like this gamification example that you gave me. It reminds me it's actually like okay, I reached the boss level. I need to handle boss eventually. Um,
It works. Gamification. If you look on modern, for example, sport application like Garmin's, Strava, other, you always have some achievements. For example, you it always tells you, oh, you're great, you run up this. You have this achievement that you run in a running day, for example, international running day, or you have achievement running in Valentine Day, or you ran 1,000 kilometers in that period. That's above 90 something percent. So you're great. So, and constant like taking attention. So kind of not releasing you. It's kind of like social network in a way. So, by the way, Strava is social network, and it has a lot of people. And I know some people. They so obsessed by Strava. Um, they do sport because of Strava. That's actually great. So they found how to gain how to attract people to sport by social network.
so can you like explain it once more what is Strava?
So Strava is a social network for athletes. When you do some sport, for example, running, cycling, swimming, hiking, there are over 20, I think, different type of sport. Your watch or phone or some device send data after the training there. Usually, it also shows on a map, but you can hide that. And Strava has a lot of users. So and you have friends, and friends give you kudos. It's like likes for your activities, and it's also kind of attract people because people like likes, and they do more sport to have more likes. And sometimes it's also so wild that some people so attached to Strava. One woman gave birth and recorded it on Strava with watch. And they also giving birth to my beautiful daughter. The title, you can change the title, and I was thinking it was on the news, and I was thinking it's a bit too much. But it's what happened with social network sometimes.
Well, it can be also sport giving birth.
So probably she really attracted to some cycling or something. She decided also to have this event in Strava.
I see. Right now, there is a lot of discussions about this TikTok and also forbidding this TikTok. What is your opinion? Why there is so much of this uh, these disputes regarding the TikTok and constant discussions about some dangers from the TikTok. What is your impression? Have you actually used that one?
I never use TikTok. I'm sorry. I know that it's something like Reels in Instagram. And I also don't follow this trend on the news. Um, I think I could assume it's because TikTok is addictive, maybe, and they young children use TikTok. Maybe they spend their time out like they sacrifice studying. Maybe y- what what they claim like dangerous. What do you think?
Well, a lot of different claims, but also the claim that it's like data goes to China, something like this. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I cannot say much because I don't use and I have only this concern about people really addicted by Instagram as well. That's why I know some of my friends they have a red filter on their phone. They activate it with double click on some button, and then with red filter you cannot kind of lose control of your time because it's not very pleasant to watch shorts.
But what do you think? Should this be regulated by the government, or it's responsibility of the platform, or it's responsibility of the people who are using it?
Honestly, I don't like regulations. I don't think it's good to regulate it by government, and it's not that it's bad, but it won't be working because people would find some ways if they're addicted. They would also. Um, I think um, people should be more responsible for themselves. So if uh, it's a tool. It also could be used probably for good. So I know some person from Kazakhstan, the teacher. I don't know him personally. I've read about him. He's teacher of chemistry. There was pandemic. The school were closed, and he decided to write to make um shorts about every topic about the class. And he did it with music, with a lot of art and a lot of devotion. And uh, they're very good. And I was like astonished how good content, and he had not only his class but millions of people who, and that's highly educational. He has explanation about elements and different things about uh, properties. So in that case, TikTok or Instagram, they are good.
I actually always say that technology itself is not bad, it's how you use it. Like the easiest example is a knife, basically. But this is probably yeah, that was also in my latest post on the LinkedIn about this how I understand the fear of AI, that in different hands it can do different things. But by the way, do you use yourself this ChatGPT, for instance?
Yeah, I use mostly uh, meta models, Llama 3, not because I don't like OpenAI, but I kind of like to compare different models. Uh, Recently, there was also DeepSeek Coder V2. So there are different models to check, and yeah, I use them. I compare them. It's very interesting to have set of questions and then use API and go over the questions and compare results with expected results and see and estimate model for yourself. on a range of question, for example, 1,000 or something like that.
But you say you use this llama, so you like to compare, but also do you use other models? I think this Grok also was, for instance, made available.
I use Grok. Grok gives you a free access. If I'm not mistaken, is restricted by 1,440, like as many minutes per day, as many requests, like requests per minute. But you also can use is a bit more intensive in shorter period, but then for the rest of the day you cannot already. And it's nice tool to experiment. For example, if you don't want to deploy on your own hardware. But I also have my own hardware. I use 4090 card, and not every model fits. But for example, Llama models, especially 7B, they fit fully in 24 gigs of memory. And 70B, no, but you can use CPU. But of course, generation of tokens drops significantly. For example, for 7-bit, it would be, because it's fully in VRAM, it would be 124 on my hardware. And for 70B, because it's used partially CPU, it would be only 5 tokens per second, which is significantly less, like way less.
Yeah, that's right. Moving from this technical topic more to your professional background and your life in general, what do you think? What are the biggest risks you took in your life?
Many risks, like I had accidental risks. Sometimes I'm not very clever, less clever than all these models. Once I cycle on Cyprus, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I crashed on bike, and then friends found me and delivered to hospital. And
You lost consciousness.
I lost conscious and I lost memory for 2 weeks before the event. So I had few fractions, but yeah. So you kind of in life, accidents could happen, and you need to be protected. So at least when you cycle, I would say have helmet. Good, a good thing. What I learned from that experience also, but I didn't have like big risk in uh like life in long term. I mean, is accident risks. So a few times I had traffic accidents. Also, kind of not dangerous, but I was almost like close call.
But overall, are you like a risk-taking person?
Yeah, very. Uh, Especially in uh, riding. In I I jump with parachute. First time when I jump without instructor. I jumped even without. So it's not, again. It's not good. I, I was late for education. Was 2 hours education in some office, and then you go on site. And actually, I was late for this education. I heard end of education, and when I went to the field with airplane, um, I was thinking it's okay, it's not difficult, and I asked a couple of questions just to be sure, and I jumped with that. Then I I look back and I think it's maybe was not wise, very wise, but yeah,
Well, it's true that some people are getting into some accidents and they have some injuries or some issues without actually even going to some extreme sports. So it's probably in a global sense, it's natural, probably.
yeah. When you jump with parachute, I want to, so don't follow this example, and also very important when you jump in this parachute. To land legs in front of you, you need to see your legs. And second, you need to connect them in three dots in knee and heels and um, the lateral bones. So because you need to land on both legs. This is saved actually me because
This is a stake learned or you learned?
no. Everything was good. The jump because the instructor she told me when you will land, please make sure the legs. She told everyone actually before land all connected. That was very important because every jump. So, for example, that day was 100 people and one person broke the leg. So it's very important to have this. It seems details, small things, but they're really important, and all these details in every type of sport profession you have it, and it is important to know these things.
All right. And now my final question in this job interview. What is your salary expectation?
Or so I would say so maybe people say it's kind of differently, but I would say I'm not a really money-driven person, but I'm mostly driven by interesting project. So I would definitely look at your proposal, but I mostly would look. I will look what type of project, what you have, because uh, honestly, I don't spend a lot of money, and but I spend time at work, and it's more interesting for me to have nice work than bad work but good money for bad work.
All right. Yeah. Of course, this is also important. Thank you for this job interview. And now time is for the feedback. And now, since we're done with the job interview part, uh, I know that you were going for the senior positions, but this is also already kind of leadership position. So how is it connected with your experience when you were applying for jobs previously? Do you find some similarities or it's like very different? But definitely, probably it was not in the park. Job interview.
Personally, I didn't have a job interview in the park, but a friend of mine, we were cycling in Norway, and he had a job interview
While cycling.
while taking break. So it's a long trip, was 3 weeks, 2,000 kilometers in mountains, and he took his iPad and had interview for job. Was a very interesting experience. I just look from side. So your interview is for sure different. This is a very personal interview. It doesn't look for me like job interview at all. It's more about personality, about the questions which you're interested in. And it's a very nice arranged interview. Uh, yeah. So it's it's the interview which makes you happy. Uh, I had a great interview in my life. I didn't have many interviews, but some of them were great. But one I remember was a very nice interview. One big company, I came to them and it was technical interview. And the interviewer started to dig very deep in the technical question, every time checking my knowledge deeper and deeper. And then he started asked me to rewrite language library functions. And it was really hard. I honestly, I was sweating a lot when I get out of the, I was, it's very intense. It was very intense.
Was it online or you were?
It was on site. Was way before online interview were very popular.
But if you were personally hiring, well, for instance, imagine you were doing your startup, and then you needed to hire a person to lead the team of developers. Um, well, probably yes, it would be also technical, but would it be also the same personal or close to what to those questions that I was asking?
Some of them, yeah, especially you had few questions about soft skills. I think you need to know some soft skills, how person, especially for team lead position, if they, for example, nice people, if they're not very arrogant, if they can, um, if they can put right load on right people, not wrong work for, because it's very important to have proper task for person who can handle it. Maybe a bit higher than just a bit to make person learn something new.
All right. And different people are watching and listening our podcast, but to those people who are aspiring engineers, aspiring developers, aspiring data scientists, what advice would you give to them?
I think follow your dream. If you like something, some technology, if you listed many technologies, um, technology practitioners, I think you need to follow so that person. If he or she likes something, go for that. And mm, if you don't like, you always can stop. If you like, it's only one way how you can find your passion. And so try and see how it fits with you.
All right. Thank you. And that was Leaders and Engineers episode. Thank you for listening and
And
watching us. And that was Valeriy Svechikhin.
thank you.
Thank you.